Hello, everybody. This is Money Mentor Dan, and I am here with Suzy. I have been mentoring her for a few months, and she's going to go ahead and speak to you about the benefits that she has gotten from financial coaching. Take it away, Suzy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Suzy Carrick, and as Dan mentioned before, we've been doing financial coaching, and I'd like to share some key concepts and things that I've learned over our sessions. Okay. So today's agenda, I'm going to be going over just a few things about myself, uh, some initial goals that I had upon beginning financial coaching with Dan. Also, kind of a list of top 5 things that are important to me, which helped prioritize uh, my spending habits. I'll also be going over some of the key concepts that I learned about retirement plans, also short term savings, which is stop the bleed, planning for the future, and strategies for saving money, and then outcomes. All right, so a little bit about myself. So, I was a consultant for about 10 years before joining Johns Hopkins. I've been working at Johns Hopkins since 2018. I'm in my mid 30s and I'm a single homeowner currently living in Lutherville, Maryland. I am teaching my third semester of STEM classes at the Johns Hopkins University. My hobbies include food, rock climbing, traveling, and reading. And prior to financial coaching, I had a very, very, very basic knowledge of financial strategies. And before going into the goals, obviously, I wanted to become more familiar with financial strategies and also my investment options and ways to save money. So, my initial goals, these are kind of a few things that were going through my head when I began financial coaching with Dan. The first thing is I know I have pretty good credit, but I've had several major home maintenance expenses over the past few years that I put on my credit card. And I wanted to figure out what the best and most effective way to pay off these expenses that are cost related. And then how can I manage my finances going forward that's so that I had more short term savings. Another thing that I've been thinking of is, I've been consistently contributing to my retirement plan while employed, but what could I do right now to help optimize my retirement savings without waiting to the last minute? And I also wanted to kind of get Dan's opinion on, whether my investment allocations were still appropriate for my age and for my risk profile. I also want to become more educated on my investment options. I don't really invest outside of my retirement plan, and I don't really have a huge passion for it, but I do want to be aware and also set myself up, um, to have a good financial future when I retire. I've also created detailed budget plans and, workbooks, but I just can't really seem to stick to it and consistently update it. I usually put in a lot of work ahead of time and then I might update it for a few weeks, a month, but then, life happens and I haven't really been able to stick with it. So I'd like to kind of build better financial habits and incorporate them into my life. So during my first meeting with Dan, he asked me to identify my top 5 things that I enjoy. And I listed family and friends, my dog Luna, traveling, rock climbing, which you can kind of see a picture of on the right. I know it's very small, but that is me rock climbing. And then my fifth item that I enjoy is food, both cooking at home as well as eating out. And this list was very important to me because it really helps me identify my priorities for what I spend money on. And also, when I do spend money on one of these top 5 things that I enjoy, I feel less guilty about it. So that kind of theme is really played out since starting financial coaching with Dan, and it's really built up my confidence on what I want to spend money on and what things that maybe I don't really need to spend money on. So based on this list, we further refined my initial goals, and we continued on with the financial coaching sessions. Stop the bleed. So one of the most important things that was on my mind was that I had about $8,000 of credit card debt due to mostly unexpected home maintenance expenses. And right now, I'm currently down to 4,000 in credit card debt. So I think that's pretty great in given the amount of time that we've been working together. Another thing to help bolster my short-term savings is that I closed out 3 existing credit cards. They had $0 for a balance. The reason why I did this was to reduce uh, the attack surface, which is fewer ways to be compromised while still maintaining a credit score. So before coaching, in my mind, I kind of thought, oh, well, the more credit cards I have with zero balance, that will impact my, debt ratio and it's going to keep my credit card high. Well, it turns out that that's not really necessary and it kind of protects me from being compromised by other parties. So I close out 3 existing credit cards that I had with zero balance, and my credit score is still approximately the same. I also opened a new credit card with 0 APR on balance transfers as well as on any purchases made for 18 months. And so far, it's saved me at least $300 in fees since starting my financial coaching with Dan. So I think that that's pretty great, and that's just going to keep accumulating for for the remaining period of time uh, of those 18 months. Another thing that we did was consolidated my credit card debt to one card instead of spreading it across multiple cards, and that just helps me kind of see the end based on where the I really need to get down instead of having to log on to different websites and check my balances and make payments to multiple entities. So it's really simplified kind of getting my credit card and I can kind of see it all in one dashboard instead of having to go to 2 or 3 to, just pay my bills and see my balance. Another thing that Dan and I reviewed was retirement basics. So I learned about management fees and investment fees for Vanguard and also required minimum distribution. I also confirmed that my current portfolio is appropriate for my age and risk profile. I also converted after-tax funds into Raw, which is expected to save me $50,000 to $70,000 in taxes during retirement, and that amount of money is just crazy to me. So I'm very excited about that. That savings. It's huge. I could never have imagined that I would save that much money just by converting after-tax funds into Raw. That's a huge savings there, and it makes me happy. Another thing that we did was enabled auto conversion from after tax to raw, which is going to allow for tax-free growth and withdrawals in retirement. All right, planning for the future. So this slide has a lot of really, really great information. It includes some of the strategies that Dan and I spoke about uh, during our coaching session and the resulting savings in both time and money for these days. So I'd like to start off with small savings. So that has kind of been a theme during our sessions. So there are so many different ways you can just save small amounts of money at a time, but then over time, it's really going to uh, add up. So, for example, I love reading books, and Dan introduced me to the Libby app, which is a free audiobook and ebook app on your phone. And previously, I'd use Audible, and what I would do is I would, pay the monthly membership fee, and I would use my credits to get books. If I didn't have enough credits, I would purchase books. And it even got to a point where I was trying to, uh, at least with Amazon Audible, I would buy a book, and then if you returned it within a week, you would get a refund. But I am not really that fast a reader, especially with work. So I I'm anticipating that the Libby app is going to save me about $300 annually, getting the cost of not having to purchase books and also Audible membership. Libby is free, so there's no membership fee, and all of the audiobooks and ebooks are free as well. So that is going to be saving me approximately $300 annually. Another thing that we talked about was that, I do like to eat out, and also, have a beverage from time to time. And um, I spoke to Dan. He kind of made me realize exactly how much I was spending per year. I didn't really track how much I was spending, especially on a yearly basis, to see and calculate, exactly how much money I'm spending on food and drinks out, and then adjusting that. It was kind of crazy how I'm going to be or estimating that I will be saving around $800 per year, just being more aware of, how much drinks and how much food costs out. And, then, you have, the restaurant pricing and other things. So just be more aware of the cost and how many times I'm going out to eat. Getting delivery was really a good thing to know. Another thing that I learned was that um, call three times. So whenever you're calling a company to get information, whether it's Vanguard, whether it's another um, company, always call three times. And I love this because I really don't like to be on hold, but this really has helped because prior, I would call if I had questions on my retirement plan or, maybe insurance, and I would talk to a representative. Most of the time, I would get accurate results, but sometimes, it might be the wrong person, or maybe, they hadn't been trained well. So calling three times just to confirm from three different individuals was very helpful to me. And that's what I did with Vanguard when I had questions on my retirement plan, and it did work. So I will be using that in my life strategies going forward. I also work with Dan on strategies for reducing food waste. One of them is called food waste shaming. So what I plan to do, I found that living by myself, grocery shopping, working, uh, sometimes I get food for myself and I either don't eat it or someone will call me to invite me out, and a few days later I end up throwing groceries that had been good out because they're no longer fresh. And that was happening a lot. So, the food waste shaming strategy, I plan on identifying any food that I plan on throwing out. And I'm going to be taking a picture of it with my phone and sending it to my mother and sister just as to help me realize how often and how much food that I am throwing out, and hopefully that will help me reduce the amount of waste from food. Another thing is that I plan to use Walmart Plus grocery delivery instead of using a third-party delivery service for groceries. One of the things that's I never really got out of the habit of doing is ordering takeout and delivery. So during the pandemic, obviously things are a little bit different. Um, Now that that's over, there's you know really not as much reason for me to be ordering the amount of delivery anymore. However, Dan introduced me to the Walmart Plus grocery delivery program, which has no upcharges on any grocery items. So when I was previously using a third-party delivery service, any item or most items that I would order, let's say I was getting, I don't know, a box of crackers for $3. I would be paying $3, but if I had gone physically to the store, it would have been, maybe 2.29 instead of $3. So I'm not paying up charges on any grocery items, and also I'm getting money on the gasoline, since I'm not. gonna be going, on these grocery trips, and also the time saved, so I can spend the time, the hours or so that I would be grocery shopping, doing other things that I like, maybe off my top 5 list, so with Walmart Plus grocery delivery, so there's the membership fee that you do have to pay for and also tipping, for the delivery driver. But again, no upcharges, no hidden service fees, none of that. So I'm very excited to sign up for that and use it going forward. All right. So some of the outcomes of financial coaching with Dan, I have dramatically improvement understanding of retirement plans and investment savings. Whereas before, I pretty much just knew that I had a retirement plan and then I was contributing. I didn't really know what was really going on. And I kind of felt overwhelmed when I was trying to read some of the descriptions of things. So Dan Bienfeld, it's clarified um, retirement plans and Roths, things like that. Also, I have an enhanced readiness for retirement and long term financial security. I have a better understanding of all my personal costs, such as eating out and the impact of food waste. And with my top 5 list, I'm able to better prioritize my spending based off of that. And always, start small and the day will come where the cumulative efforts will pay off down the line. It's just all about kind of incorporating better financial habits into your lifestyle, not just for a few weeks, a few months, but really incorporating it into your everyday life for the long term. I'd also really like to thank Dan. He's been very patient with me and he's helped me incredibly. He's saved me uh, a lot of money, especially in that tax savings, the 50 to $70,000 of tax savings. He's been a great resource, pleasure to work with. I would definitely recommend Dan if you are looking for some financial coaching. You can find him on YouTube. His name is Money Mentor Dan. And you can click the link in the appendix if you are curious and would like to see more information about him. But Dan, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that you've done. And that's it. Thank you all so much. And I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you, Susie, so much for speaking to us about your experience with financial coaching. As you all heard from Susie, she got some tremendous benefits. Just from gaining more than anything, the theme throughout her talk was gaining awareness of things. There was all kinds of things that she just did not have an awareness of, the unknown unknowns, such as her money, which was accidentally in after tax. And by getting that out of after tax and into Roth, we're expecting that'll help her avoid paying ordinary taxes decades down the line. We're expecting that, as she said, to be many tens of thousands of dollars of taxes that she won't owe to the government. And even little things like the drinks that she was buying, and she's going to be reducing that, the audiobooks, the grocery delivery service, all these kinds of things, they add up to hundreds or frankly, combine them into thousands of dollars each year. So this is a perfect example of the benefits of financial coaching. And if you are interested in making improvements to your life, in optimizing your spending, your investing, things like that, this is where a financial coach, a financial mentor can help you. So you should take a look at it and see if you're interested in doing financial coaching. All right, everybody, this is Money Mentor Dan, and we'll talk to you later.